We are excited to get back to school this school year in 25-26. So our principals reported back this week. New teachers will be back next Friday, and then students will be with us a couple weeks after that. So currently we are in the enrollment season. Online enrollment is currently open. We wanted to remind all parents that in-person enrollment happens on Monday, the 28th and Tuesday, the 29th. So next week from noon to 7 at your child's school. Online enrollment continues to be an option. But for those of you that need in-person enrollment, latchkey, or all kindergarten families, we ask that you enroll in person if you're a kindergarten family. So kindergarten families are asked also to complete the Ages and Stages questionnaire, which is part of our kindergarten readiness initiative and one of our strategic plan goals. But more than that, it really sets a foundation of us working with parents, working with kids to get to know families right out of the chute. So we're excited to see kindergarten families in person next week as we continue enrollment. And as a reminder, the first day of school is Thursday, August 14th. All middle and high school students who are new to their building, so all sixth graders, all ninth graders, and then anyone else who is new to the district and new to their building, will have a half-day orientation on Wednesday, August 13th. So once I get through my opening remarks, if there's questions about any of that, we can answer those. Another update that's gone on here in the last few weeks in the district is about a position that is posted that we are taking applications for right now, that is a Director of Partnerships and Belonging. As many of you know, last April, we lost a great colleague, a great friend, and a great leader in our district, Dr. William Polite. Dr. Polite was the Director of Equity, Inclusion, and Accountability for I believe about 6 or 7 years in the district, and he passed away suddenly in April. So as I've thought a lot about Will and who he was as a person and what he brought to the district, we've thought a lot about how we maintain that legacy and how we continue building on the great things that he had started, both for our school district and our community. So his position, we've reframed some things, and we've separated out some different tasks, but really the work that he started is all continuing in some way, shape, or form in the district. We're seeking applications right now for a Director of Partnerships and Belonging. The director will collaborate with district departments, school leaders, and external partners to create systems that support student belonging, staff engagement, and family partnerships. They will lead our restorative practices work, which is another goal of our strategic plan. The strategic practices, restorative practices, if you're not aware, is a district-wide initiative that has been going on about 3 or 4 years that we use to strengthen relationships, repair harm, and build community in our schools. That position will report to Deputy Superintendent Gil Alvarez, who's here today. He is overseeing this work to increase parental involvement, to strengthen the connection between school and home for our students. The important work aligns with our strategic plan and the goal of enhancing safety and belonging. The work of the Future Ready Advocates, which if you follow our board meetings, we've done several presentations over the past few years on our Future Ready Advocates who are mentors in our schools. Dr. Polite helped create the model and hired a lot of those individuals to do that work. That will continue, and those individuals will continue to provide mentoring for students based on risk factors in our buildings. Student risk factors, I should say. So the mentors mentor students based on the student risk factors in several of our secondary buildings. So we'll answer questions about that too when I'm done, if we want. And then I want to talk a little bit about credit recovery. Over the past 2 months or so, we've had that come up as a topic of conversation. Just this past spring in May, we had an exciting number of students cross the stage, and more than 3,000 seniors earned diplomas from Wichita Public Schools. The official numbers won't be available until the fall, but we're proud of these students and their accomplishments that they've worked hard to achieve. We had questions that came up at the end of the year that overshadowed graduation. We want to talk about what we're doing and what we're not doing to help students earn diplomas. Every school district offers options to help students succeed. Wichita Public Schools students have higher risk factors in general, and we're larger, so it makes sense that we provide more options than other school districts. In the end, the students must do the work. We are not giving out diplomas. Students are not receiving diplomas. These kids are working hard to earn diplomas. Sometimes, despite their hard work, students need to retake a class using a process known as credit recovery. Last year, approximately 98% of high school credits earned were original credit, and only about 2% were earned through credit recovery programs. This year, we're creating more opportunities to help students succeed. One at West High, which is an expansion of some current programming that we have. We're just expanding to one of our comprehensive schools, and then one at South High. And if you were able to attend the workshop that we did in July about this, we covered a lot of these topics there. At West, we're launching what we're calling night school, which is more kind of early afternoon school, but it's after school hours. It's offered after school to allow students to complete classes if needed. We offer similar programs at Sowers Alternative and Chester Lewis Academic Learning Center. This is the first time we've offered it at a comprehensive high school. So we'll pilot that and see how that goes. Sorry. At South, we're launching a brand new alternative program to support our Titans. We know that the transition to high school can be rough for some, and they often get off track during their freshman year. At South High, this school within a school program targets specific sophomores with the hope of getting them back on track so they can be successful their junior and senior years. So instead of waiting until junior or senior year when they're significantly behind on credits, we're intervening earlier at the sophomore level to try to get them back on track. We know, and I think people in our community know, that having a high school diploma changes the trajectory of a student's life. We also know the journey to earn a diploma may look a bit different depending on the student and their circumstances. We continue to look for ways to support our students to become future ready, and every student in the district to become future ready. Completely changing gears, but not I guess I shouldn't say completely, but on a different topic, girls flag football will be introduced this fall in all of our Wichita public school high schools. This is another way to engage kids, to get them involved in school, to get them active, and to get them connected to becoming future ready. Wichita Public Schools, along with other districts in Kansas, receive support from the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chiefs Flag Football League to get us started, including uniforms, flags, coaching payments, support, and more. We are working out the details in schools, including hiring coaches and working out schedules. So if anyone is a experienced girls flag football coach, we would gladly accept your application. The schools want out soon when girls can sign up to play. We're pleased that there's another opportunity for our students to be connected to our schools and also open up more options for girls to get involved in sports and extracurriculars. So those three things were the main things I want to talk about as we start the school year. And I will open it up to questions. I don't know if you want to, how we want to facilitate it, but
If you just want to ask, anybody have any questions?
yeah, go ahead.
Going back to Dr. Polite's position real quick, that was at least at one time a Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I understand that that's not the name for the new position. Is that a reaction to some of the federal mandates?
I think that what we can say, I mean, yes, I think clearly it is. But at the same time, and Suzanne, I know you know, but we had information from the federal government in February, and then we got some more guidance in March, and it was a bit of we had a lot of unknowns during that period. The guidance we've been given from the Department of Education currently is that any race-based groups, initiatives are illegal. We have not been doing that. That is not part of what we did when Dr. Polite was working for us, or not what we're doing now. Our Future Ready Advocates, our base programs, they're open to all students. They're based on risk factors, not on race. So we've been complying with the law. We continue to comply with the law, which is why we're continuing the programs. And it wasn't necessarily intentional, but it does describe the position better. The other factor that is at play here is the feedback we've been getting about the bond issue and financial oversight committee and all of that. We need to engage the community in a deeper and a better way. And so to have a director of partnerships that is specifically tasked with, and Dr. Polite did a lot of this work too, but he did a lot of the work with the mentoring programs too. This program will target more the community engagement piece. that we've been hearing from parents, constituents, teachers, everybody. We need to do a better job of that. So to align systems under the deputy superintendent is what we feel is a strategic move to better engage the community and have better, stronger partnerships. We have great partners. We have a lot of good things going. It's really more about alignment. So, anyone else?
I have another one. There have been some concerns, this is off topic perhaps, but we're hearing concerns from school districts in Western Kansas now that parents are calling schools concerned about immigration officials entering school buildings. Just concerns going into a new school year with the atmosphere of the immigration enforcement. What is, are you getting similar concerns from families hearing that, there's sort of a fear out there of going back to school where potential searches and seizures could happen?
I really haven't. I mean, I don't know. Maria could speak to that better than I could. Not that I want to put you on the spot, but
or if you could just review
yeah,
what the directive is to
I can
schools
answer
as
that.
far as protocol.
Yeah, I can answer that. I mean, we, a court-ordered warrant signed by a judge is what's required for anything to happen, and that's been the law. It continues to be the law. We'll give that guidance to principals. As we will follow the law and do so in all of our schools. As far as community sentiment, I mean, I don't know that I could speak to that well, but yeah, I would welcome it.
Hi. Hi, I'm Maria Curry. I'm the multilingual communications supervisor for 259. Yes, people are concerned, people are afraid, but our commitment remains strong. We are here to prepare every one of our students for a successful future, whatever that looks for them, and we will continue to provide the best opportunities we can to make sure that that happens. We are doing a really good work to make sure that the community feels heard and feels seen by the district. We have regular meetings with leaders of the Hispanic community and other organizations. We have great partnerships. There's just so much that we can do, but whatever is under our realm of control, we make sure that we do that to make sure that all of our kids feel like they belong in our schools.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes.
Going back to that director of partnerships and engagement, I believe it was, can you explain, I guess, what exactly that position will be doing to help engage the community work on those partnerships?
And I can give you a high level answer. So it's partnerships and belonging. So the partnerships part of it will be working with our community partners from big to small, right? So the engagement of the Hispanic Advisory Council, the African American Advisory Council, some of those community organizational groups that we work with, big groups like the YMCA, the United Way, some of those sorts of things, down to the building-based, school-based level. And you'll see more this fall as we talk about community schools, and that will be under the guise of the deputy superintendent too, and how we're using the schools to provide value to the community in a community-based ways, whatever the neighborhood needs, which might be different from building to building. The other part of that position, the belonging part of the position, is really about restorative practices. We've invested a lot of money, ESSER funds, over the past few years in training all of our staff on restorative practices, and we need someone to continue to guide the work, train new teachers, continue to ensure that best practices are being used in all of our schools and those sort of things. So that's the two pieces of the position, the partnership part and the belonging part. So, yep.
You want to speak to the federal funding still not released for ESOL programs and others? What's your plan moving forward? Will there be cuts to those programs?
Because of the contingency funds that we have and the reserve funds that we have, we don't believe, as far as staff goes, we will need to make any cuts this year. We can absorb the loss if it ends up being a complete loss. We're still optimistic it won't be. We're still optimistic that we'll see those dollars. I don't know if you saw this, but of the 5 or 6 funds, one of those, which is after school programs, which we call Stealth, which has been around in the district for over 20 years. They did release those funds. I don't know the ins and outs of the logic or what estimated timelines are on those, but we are still optimistic that those funds will come through at some point this year. If they don't, we have a contingency plan, and that's part of why the board values that rainy day fund and that contingency fund as part of our strategy, because these are the things that happen, right? These are the things that tend to happen, which can catch us off guard, and we need to be ready for it and have a savings account, so to speak, for that.
So just to clarify, you have said you have the funds to cover salaries, but now you're saying that you have the funds to cover the entire program for the year?
No, at this point, we haven't determined the discretion, not the non-salary spending. We haven't determined what that looks like. A little bit in the weeds, but the federal fiscal year and the school fiscal year don't line up. So there is this gap from July 1 to October 1. Historically, the federal government has always just given those funds on July 1, even though their fiscal year starts October 1. So we are actually if it doesn't show up October 1st, that's when we get worried. But technically, their fiscal year hasn't rolled yet. So the disbursement of funds, even though it's traditionally always happened July 1st, it on their side of things doesn't really technically have to happen until October 1st. So after that point, if we still haven't seen money, then we'll make decisions about those non-salary funds. But salaries for us and for our non-public partners that also have teaching staff in those, they're funded by those positions, will be supported for the year. So.
The U.S. Department of Education recently came out sort of encouraging schools to utilize AI in classrooms. Does AI have any sort of place in classrooms on the office? Or is there any way districts are already creative with using it, or just?
Yeah, great question. So yes, and yes. And our our August board meeting here in a few weeks, I think you'll see some announcements and some innovative things that we're doing as far as that goes with AI. It has a role to play in the classroom, and one of the strategies that we've taken with our CIO, Rob Dixon, he's done a great job, is to empower the teachers to understand it so that they aren't as fearful maybe of how kids can use it or when kids use it. The board just currently passed an AI policy. I don't know how many districts in the state have that, but we passed that to give some parameters and guidelines as far as how it should be used, how it should be supported in the classroom. It is a definite, I don't want to use the term moving target, but it's an evolving thing, right? It every week, every month, it seems like it's evolving and changing, and what students can do and what teachers can do with it is always changing. But if we focus on the teacher education piece of it, and truthfully how teachers can use it to make their jobs more efficient, to make some of the things that teachers are asked to do more streamlined, that's one obvious benefit. But the better they understand it, I think the less they fear it and the more they can understand how students are using it. So that's been one of our strategies. But yeah, ever evolving for sure, ever evolving.
How do you feel the sixth grade is getting added to Isley? Is that the only school that's getting that, or is it multiple?
Yeah, for this year, that's the only school that's just Isley.
How's that kind of going?
Yeah, I think good. The physical structure of that school is built to be a K-8 school, so there's been some moving of classrooms and some of that sort of stuff that's been necessary. But the parents that I've talked to that have students attend Isley are very excited about it. The fact that their kids can stay there for middle school, and it'll change a little bit each year up until we get it to be a full K-8, right? It'll be the transition in. We'll add some staff, look at classroom space. Athletics will come on at some point. That'll be a question we deal with. But so kind of taking it a year at a time. But the plan was to also do something similar at Cessna, had the bond passed. That's on hold for now. But that would be the only other one that we're exploring. So Cessna Elementary, that is. So.
You want to speak to progress on the bond? If the master plan calls for the closing of 4 schools, you had said that it wouldn't happen before this fall. Now it looks like you're sort of headed toward a November 26th bond, possibly. It's informal consensus, but what can you speak to those proposed closures and what parents at those schools can expect this coming year into fall of
Well, for this coming year, status quo as is. They can expect to know more information this fall. As once the bond vote happened, after that, that's kind of what we had communicated. By fall of 25, we'll have a clearer timeline for families. So they can expect to know something sometime this fall.